Welcome back. Welcome back. What just happened there? I don't know. Maybe we were over the target. Maybe the Druid Babylonian bastards don't like us giving you insight into what the future of cryptocurrency holds for those that began life by playing by the rules, and those who didn't, whether they knew it or not, probably didn't know because the SEC tends to move the goalposts. So hello, everyone in the chat. Sorry about that, but this is take two. And I've titled this, "We Must Have Been Over the Target." So we beat up the Bellina case, Max, and we were talking about the Howey test. And you were talking about, if memory serves, you were kind of right at the point.
Right.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So if I have Epic coins, then I bought them from someone. I did not invest into an enterprise. Now remember, all of the Ethereum, 70% of the Ethereum that will ever exist was created at the beginning in a pre-mine and given for free to these guys that are now the wealthy whales that dominate that network. So the way that the ether that is now under the SEC's purview, and part of why it's under their purview, and I think it should be under their purview, is because they basically created shares. Like, yes, temporarily you could mine new Ethereum shares. You could buy new Ethereum shares through the investment of electricity through cryptocurrency mining. If you remember, Commissioner Hinman said, we believe BTC and ETH are, quote, sufficiently decentralized to be outside our enforcement scope. Ether began life as a security. It had a brief phase where it wasn't a security because it was decentralized enough where it couldn't be corralled and controlled. And now it is a security again. So the worm has turned and the loop has completed. So in the case of Epic, you have individual people that are creating Epic and selling it to each other. Epic is free software that has been on the internet available for years, that is maintained by a community of anonymous, pseudonymous, or named. Everybody has their own way of engaging with GitHub, but the code is on GitHub. People interact with it just like Linux, and you can't put the toothpaste back in the tube. And it's not like it's not like Todd has a little control panel and he's like, "Hey, I'm going to change the settings of Epic today." Todd cannot change the 21 million of Epic and the 1 + 1 = 2. And, we made it immutable from the beginning, that it can never change. Okay, you can make it go faster. You can have bigger blocks. You can do all kinds of things. You can add new functionality, but you can't move the goalposts. If the goalposts can be moved, then it's not a fair game. It's ultimately meet the new master, same as the old master. And so Ethereum is in this place today because it had a fork in the road early in its life when they had a bug. They had many bugs, but the first bug that really forced them to have this come to Jesus moment and say, "Who do I want to be when I grow up?" was when there was the first ICO, the first crowdfunded thing to really go big before CryptoKitties and yield farming and NFTs and food coins was the DAO. And the DAO was basically a venture capital fund that people put in their ether and said, "We're going to have this, incubator and fund projects, and we're going to do all this stuff." And so I think they had $150 million, something like that. It was a huge, it was the biggest by far at the time. Everybody was in it. And there was a bug, and the hacker stole all the money. Wow. There's many great books about this. I can't remember the titles. I think one is called The Infinite Machine. I read basically every book that it was written about this stuff. Many of them are pretty good. So they had a hack, and what they did was they said, in 2010, when a similar thing happened, they had a value overflow incident like Epic had in March 2021. In 2010, there was a single block where a hacker created 184 billion new coins and then spent them. And they said, whoa, wait a minute. The whole point of this game is that there's 21 million coins. Like, that's not how it's supposed to be. Instead of saying, you know, we're going to like change the rules, they just said, whoops, we're going to fix the bug. We're going to go back and rewind, and then we're going to continue playing hockey as if that hadn't happened. And that's what we did. In the case of Ethereum, they said, we're going to just patch up the code and punish the hacker. We're going to just make it so like his coins are not valid anymore. They censored the hacker's money using their like managerial control. That right? Does that make sense? Am I losing you?
Yeah.
Okay, so they revealed themselves as, this is essentially database software that other people are paid to run through mining, but we control it just like Microsoft controls Windows. Whereas in the case of BTC, nobody controls it. All right. And Epic, nobody controls it. So there's these, and all these, this fundamental distinction was glossed over in the past 5 years of greed and mania and enthusiasm over, NFTs and JPEGs. And like everybody got so excited on all this stuff that fundamentally, like, we already have Venmo, we already have Alipay, WeChat Pay. Like, we already have great payment networks that work much better than blockchains. We have data storage systems that work way better than blockchains. Why do we use a blockchain? Oh, it's for those use cases when we have a need for censorship resistance. Did you know that PayPal just shut down the account of the Free Speech Union in the UK for exercising their right to free speech? They said, we don't like what you say, so we're going to take away your ability to receive money. That happened. That happened this week in 2022 in the UK with PayPal and a free speech union. So that it doesn't matter what they were saying or, you know, whether they should have been saying it. I interviewed a guy the other day for the DNA of Bitcoin podcast, and we were talking about the Canadian trucker thing, and he's like, well, you shouldn't have been supporting Canadian truckers. They should have just gone along with the program. What? Excuse me? Yeah, seriously, you're talking about how censorship resistant money, fuck the man, this and that, and you're like down with Bitcoin Core. And I proceeded to educate this gentleman who's a maxi, who's, you know, stomping his feet with the laser eyes, telling millions of people to put their life savings into BTC because the government can't control it. I'm like, in Canada, the government, people, GoFundMe shut down, PayPal shut down the account of the Free Speech Union. The truckers were using this service called GoFundMe to receive money. And they shut them down. And so they turned to BTC instead. They used BTC to fund the truckers. The Canadian police, the RCMP, Royal Canadian Mounted Police, issued a terrorist alert bulletin saying, anybody who does business with these addresses is now a financial terrorist. People lost their homes, lost their jobs. I don't know if anybody went to jail, but they could have. The power exists because when you do a BTC transaction, your identity is linked to the public key to your IP address, and that data is stored in the blockchain there forever. And so these things are being used today as political weapons. Epic is a politically neutral form of money that that type of stuff cannot happen. Guns don't kill people, people kill people. And so we're getting into dangerous times where the rules are being rewritten and existing understandings of what people thought they could count on are now being reevaluated. And the one thing you can't reevaluate is the immutability of Epic, because the 21 million will never change. Sure, like around the edges, little details here and there make it go faster, whatever. But the 21 million is never changing. There's nobody in control. Nobody can put the genie back in the bottle. It exists. It is there to be used like air, like oxygen, like water in the sea. It is a neutral public resource. And because we have that credible basis of neutrality that other platforms do not, it is safe to build here. That's the thing. We are safe and others are not. And so if you're thinking that Epic is risky because it's small, because it's cheap, because it's illiquid, because it's 21 million, well, guess what? If your ability cash out of your coin depends on the banking system, governments, men with guns, courts, political understandings. If your idea of wealth depends on those things, like how can you really sleep at night going into this crazy time?
Max,
Yeah, go ahead.
I have one comment and then I have a question. My comment is specific to how do you sleep at night when there's someone that looks like this who's controlling my crypto future. Sorry. But that doesn't help me sleep at night, but I digress. Okay, so I get it. We are at a point in time to where there are 20,000 crypto assets out there, Max and Yoga, and let's whittle it down a little bit. All right, out of those 20,000, how many of those do you think are at risk of the SEC tapping them on the shoulder saying, we've declared you a security, A, and B, how many projects are there out there legitimately, like Bitcoin, BTC, who's been declared not a security, like Epic Cash, who passed the Howey test with flying colors. Let's just assess those two first. I want to know how many are going to be left standing at the end of the day.
There is almost nothing except for BTC and Epic that meets that test. Almost nothing.
Because
if you had
the
to name,
tokens are quick and dirty, and everybody went that route, and so everybody is doing stuff on the Ethereum blockchain.
If it's a token, it's a security.
Okay, that's great to know.
That's kind of the quick and dirty of it, and then layer one stuff. A lot of them, they had their ICOs, they had their investors, they had their. We took the most difficult, most conservative, perilous path, and that's why we're such an undiscovered commodity at this point, is because of that. Most businesses, and we're not a business, we're a group of volunteers, but most businesses, they have obligations to their shareholders, and they do things in a certain way, in a certain trajectory. So, which is why most of them essentially had to go that route. The thing that sucks is that, and SEC has been criticized about this. Of course, they couldn't care less, but there's almost a deliberate initial ambiguity. Not even initial. I mean, here we are. Crypto has been around forever, and there's still this ambiguity that SEC leaves this room to just kind of call people out. Hey, you know what? Today I woke up and I thought, this is good. You guys are a security. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Now deal with it. Yeah, there you go. So there's this, and like a lot of Congress people are even kind of stepping up and saying, hey guys, maybe if you define the parameters of the game a little bit more clear instead of just going case by case, like, well, Bitcoin is the only thing that's not, first of all, your question, your motivations become questionable when you do this, because you have the fox in charge of the hen. Okay, you have the entity that is directly financially incentivized to be biased towards its own interests. Okay, and because of that, and because of the ambiguity, unfortunately, I don't want to say it's 99.9, but I think it's damn near that. It's definitely the vast majority.
Well, I would agree that today, if you asked me this question before Balina, I would have said that there are many tokens that are designed in such a way that they are not securities and they are safe. But now I withdraw that. I'm going to flatly say that as of today, everything that is a token is a security in the eyes of the SEC, at least. In practice may actually be so. It doesn't matter. The point is that they can be painted with that brush. There are different types of tokens that we're going to create. We have the roadmap for E4, 5, 6, and 7 coming in. We don't know exactly when we will have the ability to do tokens on the Epic blockchain, but we will. And those types of tokens will not be securities. Why? Because we designed them not to be.
Okay, time out. Time out, because that leads into my next question. And I have this up, and this certainly is probably an older version, but you'll get the idea. So this is our, subway stop ecosystem, if you will. So I get it. Epic Cash is not a security down here, which I guess Bitcoin, Litecoin, Monero would not be securities, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So, but when we start adventuring out and developing the rails for the rest of our ecosystem,
do we have risk there?
Yes.
Okay, no, we don't, and I'll tell you why. Okay, so ECK is a runtime fork chain fork of Epic. So it is just another version of Epic. It's basically grandfathered in. Okay. It's proof of work mined, free software, not controlled by anybody. Basically, like the SEC, when the SEC said, if you design like this, it's not a security, we said, okay, well, that's really hard. And like, it's impossible to monetize, because how can you, make money on free software? All these other crypto networks are basically businesses. They talk about decentralization and censorship resistance and blah, 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 but they're businesses. They're VC funded. They have companies. People wake up and go to jobs. Yeah, that's different than original Bitcoin and the way Epic is designed, where it's just volunteers going, hey, I have some coins. Let's talk together. Let's put on some shirts and go pick up trash, and let's make this thing go. It's just fundamentally a different way of getting there. So ECK is not a security because it is just another version of Epic. Now the E1 token is just an Epic coin that is wrapped into a token. How do you wrap E1? Well, you interface with a decentralized network of blockchain nodes. Again, not in control of anyone, not a security. The EXBR bridge, we need to update this, or it's just not on there. The EXBR bridge, excuse me?
Yes, this is old.
Yeah, we're working on the new one. So the EXBR cross bridge enables you as the user, again, here's the key. If you as a user do some things on your computer and generates a string of numbers and send that to another person, you have not created a security. If you have a company making software and releasing it to users, and I have a payroll and I get paid, and here's the budget, and when the token goes up, we win and all that stuff, you basically created an amusement park where the tickets are tokens, and it's a business. So the E1 is a wrapped Epic token that users create and exchange with each other using the blockchain infrastructure of these other networks like Ethereum, like Solana, like Tron, all these different ones. If users want to use those and go play around in securities markets using our money, great. You put your Epic coin into the wrapper, into the container, and it can ride around safely in the other blockchain. Nobody's going
to tap on E1's shoulder and say,
but there's no shoulder to tap on.
That's what I'm getting at. Yes.
Yeah. There's no shoulder to tap on, because it's just strings of ones and zeros on the internet, and it's just free software.
Okay. Now, and I'm going to rush this a little bit. I don't want to talk about the entire ecosystem. I just wanted to ask the question, out there. Are the rails, is our future, is the vision, are we ever going to put ourselves in harm's way to where we're declared a security? Or if there is a subway stop that is going to be deemed a security, then I would imagine that we would go through all of the right procedures.
Do you know, I would encourage everybody to go to epicfund.me. And we don't have it up yet, but EDAC is coming. The rest of the crypto industry has been fighting the SEC, going, neener, we're decentralized, you can't shut us down. We've been listening to them and going, these Wall Street guys are hurting consumers and investors with these sharp practices. If you could go back and rewind the systems from the 1960s that are still running today and put them on a blockchain, you could eliminate abuses like GameStop and all these other things. How can you short 300% of the shares outstanding of a company that's going bankrupt? Like, the SEC has been very frustrated at the state of existing systems, and instead of saying, SEC, we're gonna fight you, no, we see a way where we can design a way where people can trade securities through blockchains and comply with the regulations and have all that transparency, and nobody gets screwed. I think we can help the SEC. We've been doing a lot of thinking about them. I don't see the SEC as an ally. I think they can be a friend. And by clearing up all this other bullshit,
you don't see them as an ally. You consider them
as an enemy. As an enemy. I see the SEC as our allies. I see the CFTC as our allies. I see, regulators, there is a perception that regulators are captured by banking interests, and there may be a lot of truth to that. But at the end of the day, regulators are not trying to harm businesses and innovators. They're trying to protect consumers. That's what their mission is. Yeah. So if we provide a better technology solution to help investors get protected, then are they really going to say, hey, we love these big banks in Wall Street so much that we're gonna crush you just because we can? Or are they gonna go, wait, I'm getting paid to protect investors. This thing protects investors better. I'm not able to comment on things that are going on, but tax authorities, regulators, all those type of people, they are not our enemies. Blockchain solutions and better money that works for everyone can help everyone. There are no conflicts at all within our model, and the Bellina case just goes to show that we had it right all along. And as hard as it was, we made the right decisions in preserving our integrity and purity, anticipating this new environment. Because if the SEC said this back in 2016, none of the VCs would have, $30 billion of VC money went into blockchain in 2021 on the assumption that Ethereum is not a security. And now it is.
So you don't see SEC as an enemy, but I did a little bit of research, and this young man said, I see SEC. Sorry, I just had to get that in there.
I think if there is no ambiguity, if the rules are clearly defined, okay, and this is kind of my biggest beef with SEC is the ambiguity, the lack of clear direction and the lack of clear rules, okay? And if people know what the rules are, they're better equipped to deal with them, and you can't make up rules after the game has started. That's the other thing that I think is unfair, and I think is kind of massive bullshit. So for Epic, to Max's point, we did not set out to defeat the SEC. We came out of the gates clean, fair, and open. We played by the rules as they were at the time.
Yep.
And that's it. There's zero confrontation, zero friction.
If you play by the rules, they don't attack you.
Right. Okay. Right. Well, let's take a look at this, Max. And I know we're jamming a lot in, but I think this is really important. But this has to do with our future too. House Stablecoin bill would put a 2-year ban on Terra-like coins. Now, is this going to put a damper on our EUSD initiatives?
Maybe. I'm studying it. I tried to put a line into Sam Kazemian at Frax. Sam, if you're listening, I'd love to talk to you. But yeah, we don't know. I mean, so remember, I've said many times back in 2019 that for every hour I spent with Todd and the boys on writing code, it was another 10. With the guys in suits talking about how the SEC will put bullets in my head if I do this, that, and the other thing. We've been publishing version 35 of the EUSD white paper for months, and it's free software, and it is not a security, and all that other stuff. We had this plan to release it on the same lines as Epic, but now I'm like, wait a minute. Men with guns are now saying that you can't do this type of tech because Terra Luna failed, but they don't understand the difference between Terra Luna and our type of tech well enough. Like, if we do something, we don't want to wake up in 2026 and men with guns come and attack us. So we are, it doesn't matter anyway, short term, because we need E1, we need EXBR, we need all these things that get us to that point. So it doesn't change anything short term. All it means is that I need to spend a lot more time with lawyers in the meantime to understand how many angels can dance on the head of this pin.
And more concretely, what we need, and this goes back to this ambiguity thing, we need more guidance from SEC when they're defining this. Yeah, and Congress when they're defining this, because we can certainly create
I need to read that bill.
Setup. Yeah, we can physically create the kind of setup that fits the rules. Okay,
whatever the rules are, we will make it that way.
Right, but when there are no rules, this is the Wild West. They're saying, well, Terra-like. Well, from that perspective, if we're going just by the header alone, okay, hold on, scroll up, just real quick. Okay, if you just look at the header, okay, how stablecoin bill would put 2-year ban on Terra-like coins. Well, shit, based on this, we're scot-free, okay, because we're not a Terra-like coin. But the devil is in the details, okay? What else is in there that needs to get defined to erase ambiguity? Okay? We're very not Terra-like. Our approach is very not Terra-like. But what else are they going to throw into the stew?
Bill Clinton said, it depends what the meaning of the word is.
Right. Your definition
if we're talking about software can compute 0 + 1 = 1. And I can count on that to be faithful. It will never be different. But if the question,
you haven't had kids in Common Core math yet, have you?
Yeah, right. So, if we have to debate what the meaning of the word is, then it just doesn't compute, because systems can't run unless you can have reliability of their numbers. So it's a bit of a curveball.
But we are not a stable coin, but it's going to be a crypto dollar, and I know there are nuances there, but they are maintaining their UST was maintaining their 1-to-1 peg to the US dollar through their algorithm and trading in a sister token called Luna. But we're going to have not just 2 legs of the stool, it would be 3, right?
Oh, there's a dozen.
Oh, there's a dozen. Okay, even better.
Yeah, but here's the thing, like the people with guns do not understand or want to understand the differences in the technical nuances. If they think that EUSD is a Terra-like coin and they want to come, doing bad things, then it doesn't matter. The reality doesn't matter, and it doesn't matter what we think. It matters what they think. And so I understand code. I understand blockchains. I do not understand Maxine Waters. I do not understand the psychology of the people that, drink martinis and have, canapes in the halls of power. I'm going to Washington, D.C., I think, for the RGCA gift card show. We're looking at March for being able to buy Epic in stores with gift cards. So that's exciting. I hope to learn. I don't speak crony yet, but I'm hoping to pick up the lingo. So if I can understand what these guys are thinking. If we know the rules of the road, we will follow them, and we can proceed. But if there are no rules of the road and they're just saying, you do anything and we reserve the right to kill you, okay, well, I live in Las Vegas. I'm an American citizen. Like, there's no amount of money or, anything that is worth getting thrown in a cage. So,
Well,
safety first, right?
I'm reading here the panel's window for considering the bill before the end of the year is shrinking with the upcoming midterm elections throwing a wrench into the process. So that makes me feel a little bit better. But at the point in time that EUSD did come out, would that be considered a security?
No, absolutely not. No way.
Okay.
No way. But here's the nightmare scenario. So they say, you know what? We have this, like the SEC just in the Bellina case came up with a way to be able to attack anyone for anything that does anything on any of these blockchains.
Yeah.
They've been thinking of it for years, and they finally said, aha, like, I don't know if you watch those legal shows, like Harvey Specter and all that.
Yeah.
Those are fun. Like I don't have that type of mind, but I just saw the penny just dropped. Okay. That's the play. So I don't want anyone involved with any of our stuff to ever get in a situation where years down the line, whoops, the rules changed and I didn't know that was a problem. Holy smokes, honey, now we have a problem. We need to be safe.
I hope everyone on this fine Friday has hung in for both of these live streams. Excuse the interruption, and I'm glad you came back if you did. But this is what we do on Fridays, is we keep you posted on current events and how it affects not just Epic Cash and our ecosystem, but cryptocurrency at large. So I wanted you to talk about the Bellina case, the House stablecoin bill, which we did. Can you just give a few words or sentences or paragraphs on the Bank Secrecy Act and what that might do to the industry and to Epic?
Whew, yeah. So basically, this was another one of those, like when I saw it, I freaked out and nobody else kind of cared. I sent it around and it's just like, what are you going to do? Yes, of course. Like we knew they were going to do that. I was like, whoa, okay. For me, like I was talking about fungibility and how important it is going to be back in 2019. I like to kind of figure these things out ahead of time. So I think this is super important. Anyway, it was slipped in last year in the Bank Secrecy Act that basically, if you are Coinbase or you are Ripple or you are any of these companies, even Freeman Express, like Freeman Express must comply with the Bank Secrecy Act as a US company. Anything that the US government says to do, it must do. And you know what they have the power to force centralized intermediaries to do?
What?
Reverse or manipulate or do whatever they want with any individual blockchain transaction. So let's say you're talking about a world where BTC wins and it's trading at $100,000, $1 million a coin, and there's all this activity on Lightning, and you're doing Lightning channels between El Salvador and other North Korea, maybe whatever other totalitarian states that are dictatorships plugged into that network. Okay, so your Lightning transaction from El Salvador to North Korea, the US government can tell Coinbase, okay, route that payment not to North Korea, but to Iran. And they have to, they must, they have no other option. And the reason it's such a big deal is that there used to be a process like I don't understand all the nuances. I'm not a lawyer, but something like there was like a hidden secret, like, oh my God, if it's the end of the world and we're going to get nuked, and you had no other option, and we're all going to die unless you push that button, like break glass in case of emergency. That emergency powers use was applied like globally. I think there used to be like a 90-day open process. Like if they were going to use the power, they had to tell people they were going to use it. And now it's just internal. It's just like, the Secretary of the Treasury can like decide. So I read that and I talked to ex Federal Reserve people that like, you know, run crypto startup banks and stuff. Like I've spent, I mean, code is easy, but this stuff is hard. I've spent a ton of time trying to understand the regulatory side and the lawyer stuff and all that. And basically what happened is that inside the Treasury, I believe it's the Secretary of the Treasury, but I could be wrong, but there exists the arbitrary power to control anyone's balances on not just checking accounts and corporate, you know, banking systems, but on actual blockchains as well. So imagine like you are a political adversary and you're doing transactions on Ethereum. You know, you have a pension fund and you're harvesting, you know, yield farming on Ethereum coupons or something like that. You know, the equivalent of the Norwegian fishing village that had AAA mortgage securities backed by CDOs. And now there exists the power to go and arbitrarily redirect that wealth from Norway to Pakistan because of climate goals and ISO 2022 or, you know, whatever. The goalposts can shift, the rules of the game can change. The sands are shifting beneath you. So there's very dark overtones that are looming, and the signs are there, but they're just hard to pick up, and nobody is talking about them. Yeah. And you know, it's very simple. In an age of information, ignorance is a choice, and these risks exist. And you can choose to be aware of them and take active steps to not be subject to them by using the type of technology that is designed safe, to be safe and compliant like we did, or you can take the risk. And I understand it's very profitable to, you know, like I look at CoinMarketCap every day and I see millions and billions of dollars and all these guys with Lamborghinis, and there's huge money in going that way. So if you want to do that, if the juice is worth the squeeze and the risk is worth it, go for it. But you should at least be aware that you're taking that risk. And I think that risk is underpriced. And if that risk is underpriced, then that means Epic is underpriced, because these other assets are more expensive and they have risk, and Epic is less expensive with no risk. That's how I see it.
And I think the worm will turn at some point in time. And I don't know, everyone, like I said in the original title, we may not be here next week to even know. I mean, something's supposed to happen tomorrow on September 24th, but I am going to make a prediction. My prediction is this. I predict that we will be back, Max and Todd and I will be back Wednesday at noon, and I predict that we will be back next Friday at noon for another Epic Cash Live. You know, I'm just going out there thinking that. Can I get
30 more? Can I get 20 more seconds? I want to throw a shout out. Please visit freemanexpress.net. The wait list isn't up yet, but it's coming soon. We expect that the first card holders will be able to do transactions with Freeman Express cards using their Epic balances to power that whole process in October. So it's getting very close. If you want to be on that beta list of helping us work out the kinks and figuring out how to make it super easy, be part of that first wave. Join the waitlist at freemanexpress.net. You're going to be able to send payments in 17 fiat currencies using 22 different payment methods, from Alipay to WeChat Pay, send wire transfers, pay your mortgages, all that stuff. And the onboarding experience is easy and the cost is low. It will be as low as 99 cents to access that fiat channel. So I'm very excited about Freeman Express. I've been working on it for over 5 years now, and it's finally about to become operational. So freemanexpress.net.
Yeah. And where else, everyone, do you find this kind of positive activity in, you know, just development? Every time, I mean, Max, you or I can't remember who distributed the latest tech update, but you read that and you're just like saying, geez, man.
There's a lot of cooking. There's a
Yeah.
lot cooking. Okay.
There's 42 tech tracks. So what you read is a report, a weekly development report from Tech Track 1, which is the Epic core protocol. There's 42 tech tracks. There's 51 marketing tracks, 19 business development tracks, various integrations and things like that. As is our way, we are quiet. We don't talk a lot until things happen. We are instead of making noise, we are building. And as we've been saying for months now, years, we've been building more and more and more, faster and faster behind the scenes.
Yeah.
There's about to be green shoots popping up out of a lot of soil everywhere all at once. Why? Because we've been putting seeds in the ground. We've been putting fertilizer in. We've been arranging for irrigation. We've been arranging for distribution downstream into the markets. We didn't care about making Epic a $1 billion coin. Pirate Chain got to $2 billion. We didn't care about pumping up the value short term. We're thinking about trillions. Why? Because our system can handle quadrillions. So, we've kind of sacrificed and sandbagged the short term in favor of the longer term success. And now those choices are really being validated.
Pirate got up to $2 billion to the point where you can, a few can properly fund ranches in Mexico and underground bunkers and stuff. So that's a measure. I mean, I cannot
Success.
wait.
And tacos for their
And
pets.
tacos.
So that's really clutch right there. And Uncle, not to kind of go against Nostradamus or other things, but as far as, the Doomsday Saturday, I think the chances are slim for one simple reason.
Because Sunday, the Buccaneers play.
Exactly. Because Sunday football, baby. That's it. That's gotta happen.
Where's my gavel?
And we can mic drop on that.
Let's wrap it on that.
Yep.
Go Bucks.
Peace out,
Green Bay
folks.
Packers fans, screw you. Stop. All right.